This next DIY, we're gonna be using Quikrete again, but I have to tell you, it's absolutely one of my favorite DIYs in this video. We're gonna be making Quikrete candles. One of the things you wanna think about whenever you're making Quikrete items is how you're going to pop them out. So with silicone, that's a great option. So with something like candles, I like to use juice containers because they're paper and I can easily peel them off after it's set into the mold. So I'm gonna be using 2 different size juice containers. So I'm just going to rinse them out really well. Then I'm going to cut around the top portion because I'm not going to need that, and it's gonna help me to fill them. I'm also gonna need some scrap wood from Dollar Tree. So I have these long wood pieces, and I want one of the wood piece to go about as high as my candle's gonna be. So I'm gonna cut down a piece and then cut down another piece the exact same size, and I'll cut it with my hacksaw. Then I just need 2 other pieces that are a little bit shorter. Honestly, make them whatever size you want, but I wanted them to be a little bit different. I'm going to add in the wood pieces to the corners. So I want both of the wood pieces to sit in there so that they touch on one of the corners, if that makes sense. And I'm going to do that for both of the containers. Now it's time to mix up and add in my Quikrete. So I'm going to mix up the Quikrete the same way. I'm going to add in Quikrete. I'm also going to add in water until it's at a pudding consistency. Then I will put the Quikrete into my containers, holding those wood pieces on the side because I don't want them to move around in my piece. And I'll add the Quikrete till I get to the top of the wood piece. And I'll do that in both of the containers. I'm also going to add one of these larger tea lights that I picked up from Walmart. I'll put that in the top, and I'm just gonna press it down until I can't see the metal portion around the edge. You wanna let this dry for at least 5 hours or overnight. Come back in, and then you can start to peel off the container. I find that this is the easiest way to do it. Peel off the container until it completely pops out. I also, again, like to let this sit overnight because it's still a bit wet at this point, so you wanna let it set overnight. Once I peel off the container, now I want to really expose those wood pieces, and it's going to happen where some of that Quikrete is going to get around the edges. So I used one of my scraper tools to scrape off any Quikrete that's on the outside portion of my wood pieces. And this is a great thing to do before it really dries. So scrape that off. You can also sand down the wood pieces to make sure you can really see them. Then let your candles set overnight so they can harden before you use them. And then you can style them in your bathroom, and here's a look at how mine turned out. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is Dollar Tree. Whenever you're looking for craft supplies, do not just stay in the craft section at Dollar Tree. You can find craft supplies all over the store. One of my favorite places to look is over in the cleaning section. So when I was walking through there, I found this really interesting brush. At the time, I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I was for sure going to pick it up because I knew it would create a really cool paint technique. I wanted to try to create a large vase, and whenever you need a large vase, the best place to get it is at the thrift store. I found this really large, clear vase that would be perfect for my project. So I only wanted to paint the bottom third, so I used frog tape. I wrapped that around my vase. Now I wanted to make sure I didn't get paint on the top half of my vase, so to do that, I took some craft paper, wrapped that around, and then used frog tape to secure it in place. Once you have your craft paper wrapped around, you just want to take it and push it down into the middle. That's going to protect the center of your vase. I'm gonna flip the vase over just so it's a little bit easier to paint. Now it's time for my paint technique. So the paint I decided to use were the Dollar Tree Paint Pour paints. These are great for so many projects. I'm gonna be using a white, a cream, and a black. So I started by putting some white paint in a dish. I dipped my cleaning brush into the paint and then wiped off the excess on my table. Then I just dabbed it on the side of my container. This created a really cool speckled look. And I did that all around my vase with the white color. Then I came in and did the exact same thing with a cream color, and then followed it up with a black color using the same brush for all of the paint techniques. Now, if you want to add more white or more cream, you can definitely do that until you're happy with the look. But I felt like this was such a unique technique that I wouldn't have gotten with a normal paintbrush. Let this dry completely, then you're going to remove the paper and the tape. You can fill it with your favorite stem. Dollar Tree is now carrying canvases in the color black for $3 in the Dollar Tree Plus section. When I picked mine up, I didn't know exactly what I was gonna do with it, but I knew I had to grab one. So I wanted to keep it the color black, but I felt like the best thing to do was add texture to it. So I started by putting spackling on the entire piece. I have this really large tub of spackling, but you can buy it in smaller containers at Dollar Tree. So I'll use my scraping tool and put it over the entire piece. Once I have it distributed over my entire piece, I'm gonna go in with a paper towel and I'm just going to press down on it. This gave me kind of an interesting texture. I had a rough look, but everything was kind of pressed down. I really liked the appearance of it. I wanted to create one line through the bottom of my canvas. So to do that, I'm gonna use a trowel tool. You can pick these up at Home Depot or Lowe's. They're for putting on mortar when you're laying tile. So they would be in the tile section. I'm gonna take the smaller end of the trowel. I'm gonna run it across the bottom of my canvas. I'll pull off any spackling that got on my tool and I'll do it one more time to make a really clean line. Now you need to let this dry completely overnight before you do anything else to it. The next day I came in and I'm gonna paint the entire piece with a black sample paint that I picked up. I had to do 2 coats on it just to make sure it was completely covered black. And here's how this piece turned out. Dollar Tree has done such a good job recently of giving us so many more wood crafting items. So I wanted to do a DIY with some of those wood crafts. So I picked up 2 of the wood blocks. A lot of times when you get them, they're very rough. So I started by sanding them just to get all the rough edges off. Next, I'm gonna use some wood beads. These wood beads are from Amazon, but they do have them at Dollar Tree as well. I'm gonna hot glue the wood beads along the base of one of my plaques. And then I'll add hot glue to the top of the wood beads and place the other plaque on the top. Now originally I thought I wanted to put some legs on here, so I had these large wood beads from Amazon. I hot glued those on and I realized these are way too big, so I ended up pulling them off and putting on some smaller beads. The ones that I used on the inside, I used those for the legs. I also originally thought I was going to paint this, but when I looked at it, I thought, you know what, this would look great stained. So to stain this, I'm gonna be using the color Golden Oak, and I like to use a foam brush whenever I stain. I'm gonna place the stain with my foam brush onto the tray, and then any excess I'll immediately pull off with a paper towel. Let that dry completely, and I think these are great to use in your bathroom or your kitchen to put your soap container on. Hey guys, I'm Liz and you're watching my second DIY channel where I post daily DIY videos. You may be familiar with my main channel, Liz Fenwick DIY, but I'm glad that you found me over here on my second channel. Make sure that you're subscribed so you just get notified every day when I post our daily DIY video.